something. It's unfortunate, needless stress. But specifically on the issue, let's be clear. It is quite obvious from all we can see that the NPP is having problems with their parliamentary strategy. And for me personally, it is surprising because some of these things should have been obvious. I remember on the day that the speaker was elected, and I was sitting with a couple of people and we were expressing shock that given the situation, the NPP was so confident, but they lacked the strategy and allowed the NDC to win on that. And then again, strategically thinking, I remember remarking to a colleague who was close to me that I don't see why the NPP was accepting the deputy speakership. Because anytime the speaker is not there and the deputy speaker sits, they will be shot by one. And in a situation where one vote makes a difference, strategy-wise, they shouldn't have been doing that, but they did it. Clearly, it looks like they're having a problem whipping their members into parliament, and it's now playing out in public. So NPP clearly is having a massive problem with their parliamentary strategy. And now it has spilled over into the court. I remember telling my colleagues that in the practice of law, strategy can be more effective than the law itself. And that's a very important thing to keep in mind. When you are looking for a certain particular end, the law may be a tool, but strategy can be more effective than the law in the actual practice. That is what is playing out. Now, having seen that they are fighting, or they're having a problem in parliament, the NPP, and I'm saying this carefully, rightly so, is using some advantages that they may get from the courts. And I agree with Gary. And Gary, hi. This matter precedes 11. It just turns out that if they pursue this matter a bit more diligently, and they've had all this time to have done this, they didn't do it. But well, better late than never. Doing this now will help them in parliament. Why not? So I don't have a problem with NPP using their parliamentary strategy. But that being said, as an independent person, this is what I'm going to say. Our courts must be mindful that their actions can play into somebody's political advantage. If therefore they are mindful of that and they wish to proceed as if nothing is happening, that's their prerogative.
Are you suggesting that if the Attorney General or the police have evidence of a crime committed by a member of parliament, they should fold their arms and say, because if we touch the person and the court gives a favorable ruling, it will do what?
I am not saying that. I am saying that whatever happens in a court has a certain repercussion outside the court. In this case, there's a political issue playing out. And the effects of what is done in the court, rightly so, will have a clear political effect. So the courts must be mindful of that. Something you and I know of cases we have filed that have not even been called. The things that the court, especially when you go to the higher courts, it's not just law, it's policy and all kinds of discretions are applied. So I'm simply saying, our courts must be mindful of the effect of their actions or inactions and be careful that their actions do not play into the hands of the politicians. And if they so wish it to be, let it be. I'm simply saying all of us are watching and we know what is going on. The judges live in this country, they understand what is going on. Gary and his colleagues have every right to pursue what they are pursuing.
Yes.
And the NBC has every right to complain that, hey, why have you waited all this time? But at the end of the day, I still have faith in our courts.
Why should it matter? Why should it matter that anybody has waited all this while till whatever? Why should it matter? For as long as the evidence will show that will help a judge to make a decision one way or the other, why should they think outside the four walls of the court?
They should, because they live in society and they understand that their actions have some effect on society.
Right. So if they live in society and they should think about what is going in parliament, the evidence is put before them and they find that the MP is guilty or is not guilty. They should say the MP is guilty when he's not guilty, or the MP is not guilty when he's guilty, so as to save what?
I have not said they should say this or they should say that, or they shouldn't say this or they shouldn't say that. I'm simply saying our judges know that politicians play these games, and they rightly have to. They should be aware, and they are aware, that the decisions they make will have an effect politically. I'm not saying they shouldn't or they should. I'm simply saying that we all know they are aware. So they should be mindful if they intend to proceed, even with alacrity on this matter, and quickly resolve it, so be it. If they intend also to use the normal processes, which may mean that it will take longer, or they intend to even rest some of the issues. There are cases in court today that have been resting, and sometimes the courts can issue a hearing notice. For this or that reason, they wait here or they wait there.
Yes,
and
but
they have